Every month we have a bunch of brand new iOS and Android games to sift through and find the best ones for you, and that's why today GameRanks is bringing you the 10 best new iOS and Android games of October 2016. Just as a quick note, these are paid games. We also do a video with all the free games, and that will come within a few days. Number 10 is The Bug Butcher, which is a 2D side-scrolling platformer. It does a great job handling the limitations of a mobile game. In some ways, it reminds me a little bit of Earthworm Jim. Some ways, it reminds me of games by the Behemoth, like Alien Hominid, except if you took away all the diagonal and straightforward aiming, you can only aim up. But with the limited control scheme of a mobile platform, it actually works really good, and the level design is great. To me, it kind of harkens back to the 90s of those shooters that had these weird senses of humor that don't necessarily beat you over the head with the humor, but it's there in the underlying base of the game. It all comes together to make one of the best mobile shooting games. It does require a little bit of a beefy phone though. If you don't have 2 GB of RAM on your phone, you're probably not going to want to even try it. That being said, if you do, it's pretty much top of the line as far as shooters, especially 2D side-scrolling shooters. Number 9, Lara Croft Guardian of Light, which comes off as a little bit closer to the real Tomb Raider games than, say, Lara Croft Go, but it does, to be completely honest, retain a couple of elements from those games. The puzzle solving actually comes off a little bit as somewhere in between Lara Croft Go and a full-blown Tomb Raider game. However, this is something that has a lot more action than the Go-style games, as well as an actual full-blown narrative. Now, the narrative focuses less on Lara Croft herself than the game since the reboot, and more on the tombs and the lore and all those types of things. And some people actually say that that's the thing they want out of the reboot. To be honest, I love the reboots. But I also love the older games, and I also love Lara Croft Go. So to be completely honest, something that sort of hits in the center if you triangulate those things, it's great. I really enjoy this game. It's a lot of fun, it's fast-paced, and it feels pretty much like it should. Controls handle even better than they look like they handle. It's a dual stick shooter, and it is awesome. It plays so good, seriously. If you got $4, it's worth it. Number 8, Dragon Sinker, which will absolutely fill the void that is left by NES-style Final Fantasy. Obviously, there aren't any more of those at the moment. It's got a simple story, and it's pretty much mechanics-based, and the battle system does exactly what you want it to. I mean, exactly. Now, I will say the graphics are a little bit better than an actual 8-bit thing. The color palette is much wider, let's just say. But it does go a little bit beyond the NES Final Fantasy games as well, in that it brings in a job system with quite a few different jobs, 12 different party members, and honestly a pretty cool world map. And it probably could be just a little bit longer, but it provides a challenge and it scratches an itch. I really enjoyed it. Number 7, Crap, I'm Broke, Out of Pocket is kind of, in its own way, a love letter to the millennial experience. It's kind of like a depressing version of Mario Party. All of the mini games are kind of, well, oriented towards having small amounts of money to pay your bills. All the mini games are actually really engrossing, and I find myself stuck on them. Like, I want to play more of them. They're great. I hope that this is not all we get, because honestly, this could be a great series. Or if they add on content to this, it's fun. I love the art style. It's truly a beautiful game. But it's also kind of a bummer that we have like a million simulators for fantasy situations. And this game kind of reminds you that paying your bills is kind of like the same thing. It's still a fantasy. But it's fun and it's beautiful. So it's definitely worth it, if not for the depressing undertones, but it's great. It's enjoyable. Number 6, Insult Simulator is like what would happen if you made insulting people into a fighting game. It's kind of a puzzle fighter style combo thing where each character sort of has different weaknesses, and the idea is to assemble an insult that actually gets to them. Number 5, Jade Empire Special Edition. So back when BioWare was experimenting with putting action into their RPG stuff, Jade Empire was pretty much the first title they did it with. Now obviously this worked out really well on account Mass Effect is basically one of the biggest RPG franchises of all time at this point, but this is kind of where it started. And it's great that it's out now on more platforms than just the original Xbox, because this is one of those games that should have gotten more attention. If you consider its age, it is a gorgeous game. At 15 hours, you might consider it a little bit short for an RPG, but if you're looking at this as a mobile game, I think that 15 hours is probably pretty good. I hope people show this game some love this time around. Maybe we'll see something else from the Jade Empire franchise. because frankly, I like this a lot. I enjoyed it a whole lot the first time around, and it's nice to have it with me in my pocket. Number 4, Legend of the Skyfish, which I'm just gonna go ahead and say is like the Super Nintendo Legend of Zelda if the world were more obstacle-based and the sword and the hook shot were combined into one thing. Now this game, as far as I'm concerned, innovates on the SNES/2D Zelda genre by making it more compact and making it so that all of the land area seems to have its own use. Like I said, it's a more obstacle-based game than Zelda ever was. And you know what? This game is phenomenal. This is one of those games where I don't understand why it's just on mobile. This needs to be on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One stores because there is a huge market for something like this. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm gonna play this game and replay this game and replay this game. It's got 45 levels, great boss fights, and when I talk about scratching an itch, this is like if scratching an itch were a permanent thing, if you could never have an itch again. This is fantastic. If you like Zelda, play Legend of the Skyfish, period. Number 3, egg, which is the sound that you make when you vomit, because this is a platform game about vomit. It's a 2-touch game, so the controls are incredibly simple. The game revolves around covering everything in puke, and yes, that's an accurate description of it. The 2-touch controls are great because they have context-sensitive jump buttons, and the art style is actually gorgeous. It reminds me of a modern Adult Swim cartoon, but at the same time, it has the sensibilities of something from the 90s with, you know, a lot of gross out humor. It's a bizarre game, and the best way to explain it is that you shouldn't be worried about realism, or physics even really, because to call this accurate wouldn't be. There's a lot of puke, and it's funny, and it's fun. Number 2 is Banner Saga 2, which if you know from what we've talked about on the PC, Banner Saga 2 is a great game, and this is a fantastic port of it. They've done a very good job making it playable on a mobile platform with a touchscreen, and if you have or haven't played Banner Saga 2, this is definitely a game that you're going to want on your phone. It pretty much improves on the original in every way, from the characters to the battles. I would say especially the battles, which have really been opened up regarding possibilities, and, well, I love the story. I love the music. Banner Saga is going to be something that I hope they do for a very long time, because it's just phenomenal all around. It's great to have it on mobile. And finally, number 1 is Infinite Tanks! There's so many tanks, it's an inconceivable amount of tanks in this game, and it lives up to the title. This is not a simulation game, it is much more arcade-oriented and just absolutely absurd. You can knock stuff down, trees, fences, cars, run it over, it doesn't matter. Get online and blow other people in tanks up as well. And do you know what? Oh my gosh, they do such a good job. Accuracy, nah, not so much. I don't care, though. I've never ridden in a tank, so I don't really know how accurate the controls are. I sincerely doubt they're nothing like this, though, and I don't care. The controls are simple, one side's aiming, one side's movement, and pretty much all action does exactly what you want it to do. Everything is super satisfying, like it feels like it should, and gives you some fanfare. It's fun as hell, it's a little bit more fast-paced than you might expect from a tank game, which I like, and it's goofy, in the best way. I would definitely recommend Infinite Tanks. Quick bonus title for you as well, Treasure Buster, which is something between pinball and a roguelike dungeon crawler. You essentially aim and bounce into enemies and collect treasure. That's the best way I can put it in a short period of time. It's fun, try it. If you enjoyed any of these, what was your favorite out of these games or any games that came out this month on iOS or Android? Let's hear about that in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please click like. It obviously helps us a ton, and we thank you very much for doing that. If you're not subscribed and want brand new videos from us every single day, now is a great time to slam that subscribe button. Sorry, I like when people say that. I think it's funny. As usual, we thank you very much for watching this video. I am Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.